Hello and welcome to Williams Mullins Benefits Companion, a podcast that helps employers navigate the complex legal challenges of managing their employee benefit plans. I'm your host, Bryden DeWitt, and today I'll be joined by Dee Spivey, a retirement plan consultant with SageView Advisory Group, to discuss payroll integration. How are you doing today, Dee?
I'm doing fine, Bryden. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining me on the Benefits Companion. So, Dee, why would a plan sponsor consider payroll integration?
I actually think there's quite a few reasons that a plan sponsor should consider using payroll integration as it relates specific to the 401k. But a few that really stand out to me. I mean, the first is kind of obvious, but just use the technology that we have. It's now 2021, and if you're not using technology to make yourself more efficient, it's kind of like you're still maybe using a rotary phone or even an old flip cell phone.
Right.
The technology's there. It's proven. Integration's been in place for a long time, and a lot of plan sponsors are using it. So I would say that if you're not, it's certainly a goal you should work towards. Another reason would be just simply to save time. You ask any person what they could use more of, and they're probably going to save time, and taking the manual process out of play makes less room for error, which I think is a good thing as well.
Yeah. So exactly how does payroll integration work?
Well, payroll integration can work in two different ways. So if when you think about sending data to your record keeper, every payroll for contribution submission, you can set up a payroll integration to work in a 180 format, which means that data, every payroll, the 401k contribution from your payroll to your record keeper would automatically be fed without any interference. So it reduces individual responsibility. What's your backup plan if the person that you have who's supposed to be submitting 401k contributions on the day they're due doesn't show up to work? Now, if it's integrated and it's automated, you can ensure that those contributions are submitted timely and your plans are remaining in compliance. The next level to integration would be a 360 integration, which is really kind of the best way to do that. Is so you still have that 180 where payroll is being sent automatically to the record keeper, it's being updated. But now with a 360, the record keeper can compile all the data where participants maybe make changes, participants are enrolling, participants are taking loans, and that data can automatically be fed back to the payroll file for needing no interference with any person working payroll.
So it really helps to avoid some of the administrative errors and operational failures that cause clients to come to me to fix, right? And to correct under the IRS correction programs or the Department of Labor fiduciary correction program. I mean, one thing we often see are late contributions, 401k contributions to the plan's trust. And it seems to me that if you are using payroll integration, that makes it nothing's foolproof, but it really would help to minimize the chance that would occur.
That's right. The other thing that I've seen in my past working with a lot of plan sponsors is a lot of plan sponsors will either maybe miss the report where a person changed their deferral. Maybe they overlooked a rehire that should have been enrolled in the plan and they weren't, and they have to go back and they have to make up a missed opportunity. And so having it automated and that data being automatically fed to the record keeper helps keep those mistakes from happening too.
Right. So are there any downsides to integration?
I think that the advantages far outweigh the downsides, but I have seen a few downsides or kind of negatives, I guess I would say. I mean, number one, just building that integration sometimes can be a challenge. Depends on what record keeper, depends on what payroll vendor you're working with, and if those two can work together and what that looks like, and if there are any costs to doing that. The other downside that I've seen is that it's so great to have the automation in place, but if for some reason the automation happens and it shouldn't have happened, like if a file was sent and maybe it shouldn't have been sent, it's a lot harder to unwind an automated process than it is to unwind a manual process.
So do you have any tips for plan sponsors on how to implement integration and what to do if integration is not an option for them?
Yeah, I mean, so first, I think just start with your vendor partners. Ask your payroll provider what type of integration levels are available on the product or the platform that you currently use, and then ask your record keeper if they can integrate with your payroll provider. If it's not an option, I would just suggest talking to your record keeper to see what other services they do have that could help automate the process of getting data to the record keeper, to their platform. Maybe their processes are changing. We're always hearing record keepers investing more into their technology and making their services for plan sponsors even better. So I would ask, if you've asked before, I would keep asking, because I think those are enhancements that we continue to see that are being made in the industry.
Okay, well, thank you, Dee, so much for coming on to the Benefits Companion.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. So if any listeners have any questions or suggestions about future episodes, they can contact me. Listeners can also visit our employee benefits page at williamsmullen.com/employee benefits. There's more information about our employee benefits team, as well as past episodes of this podcast and legal alerts. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast to be notified when our next episode posts. Thanks for listening.